In this lesson, you'll learn about possessive nouns. Let's do a quick review from our previous lessons. What is a noun? A noun is a person, place, or thing. Possessive nouns show that something is owned by someone or something. Here are some examples. The dog's bowl, the girl's dress. Do you notice anything about these possessive nouns? Pause the video for a minute and look at the examples. Possessive nouns have an apostrophe. So this thing that looks kind of like a comma in the sky, we call that an apostrophe. Dad's car, Mrs. Smith's class. So here the apostrophe is showing that Dad is the owner of the car. And this apostrophe is showing that Miss Smith is the owner of the class. Can you come up with a possessive noun example? Go ahead and pause the video and try it on your own. Nouns that don't end in S can be made possessive by adding apostrophe S. Here are two examples. Mary's house. Mary does not end in S, so to make it possessive and show that Mary is the owner of the house, we're going to add an apostrophe S to make Mary's house. Another example, phone's screen. Phone does not end in S, so we're going to add apostrophe S to show the phone is the owner of the screen. Now I want you to try one. The ear belonging to the boy. How would you write that as a possessive? Go ahead and pause the video and practice on your own. The ear belonging to the boy would be boy's ear. So boy is the owner. And it does not end in S, so we're going to add apostrophe S to show that the boy is the owner and he owns his ear. Let's look at another type of example. Nouns that end in S can be made possessive by just adding an apostrophe. So here we have ants. Ants ends in an S, so we're only going to add an apostrophe to show ownership. Now we're showing that the ants, the group of ants, own the hill. Here's another example. Monkey's cage. Monkeys is the owner. So all we have to do, because it ends in S, all we have to do is add the apostrophe to show that the monkeys own the cage. I want you to practice one. What about the house belonging to the neighbors? Pause the video. How would we write the house belonging to the neighbors as a possessive? All right, the house belonging to the neighbors would be neighbors. That's the owner, and it ends in S. So all we have to do is add an apostrophe. And what the neighbors own is the house. So it becomes neighbor's house. We're going to continue to look at some more examples and practice this together. The paper belongs to Mr. Elliot. We always start with our owner. Then we have to decide, are we adding an apostrophe or apostrophe S, and then what they own. So here, the paper belongs to Mr. Elliot. Stop and think. Who is the owner? Does the owner end in S? If the owner ends in S, we're just adding an apostrophe. If the owner does not end in S, we'll add an apostrophe S. And then what do they own? Here, the paper belongs to Mr. Elliot. Mr. Elliot is the owner. Mr. Elliot does not end in S, so we're going to add an apostrophe S. And what he owns is the paper. So the possessive would be Mr. Elliot's paper. Let's look at another example. The nest belonging to the birds. Again, who is our owner? Does our owner end in S? If so, we're just adding an apostrophe. If the owner does not end in S, we'll add an apostrophe S. And what does the owner own? The nest belonging to the birds. So the owner here would be the birds, and birds does end in S, so to show ownership or to make it possessive, we'll just add the apostrophe. And what the birds own is a nest. So the nest belonging to the birds could be written as birds nest. Let's look at some more examples together. You're going to make this chart on a whiteboard or on notebook, in a notebook or on paper, and you're going to write each of these phrases as a possessive. The room that belongs to Ryan. Who is the owner? Does it end in S? What do they own? The book that belongs to the library. Who is the owner? Does it end in S? What do they own? The jewelry that belongs to the girls. Who's the owner? Does it end in S? Remember, if it ends in S, we're just adding an apostrophe. If it doesn't end in S, we'll add an apostrophe S. And then what do they own? The toys that belong to the cats. Who's the owner? Does it end in S? What do they own? The phone that belongs to mom. Who's the owner? What do they own? Who's the owner? Does it end in S? What do they own? Pause the video and take your time to work through these. All right, the room that belongs to Ryan becomes Ryan's room. Ryan is the owner. Ryan doesn't end in S, so we're going to add an apostrophe S, and he owns the room. The book that belongs to the library. The library here is the owner. Library does not end in S, so we're going to add an apostrophe S, and the library owns a book. Library's book. The jewelry that belongs to the girls, the possessive for that would be girls' jewelry. Here, girls together is the owner. It ends in S, so we're just adding an apostrophe, and the girls own jewelry. The toys that belong to the cats would be written as a possessive. Cats' toys. Cats are the owner. Cats ends in S, so we're just adding an apostrophe, and what do the cats own? It's the toys. The phone that belongs to mom. Mom is the owner. Mom does not end in S, so we're going to add an apostrophe S. And what does mom own? She owns the phone. So the possessive would be mom's phone. Lots of nouns start with a P. What is a plural noun? Pause the video and think about it. What is a proper noun? Pause the video and think about it. What is a possessive noun? Pause the video and think about it. All right, a plural noun is any noun that is more than one. So it could be 2 of something, it could be 10 of something, it could be 1,000 of something, but a plural noun is any time we have more than one of a noun. A proper noun is the name of a noun. The example we gave in that lesson was McDonald's. It's the name of the restaurant. Earth is the name of the planet. Jamie is the name of the student. So those would all be proper nouns. And a possessive noun is what we talked about today. It shows ownership. The teacher's pen. Teacher is the owner. Pen is what they own. And we use the apostrophe to show ownership. Great job.